we wanted to get back with a lot of you about these questions you have concerning the cookware. Make sure you guys are using it to its fullest potential. So if you got our last newsletter and opened it and read it, you see that Lena had actually added a little segment about this video called Healthy Vidbits. So what I'm going to do is go down the list of folks who actually replied to the newsletter with some questions, address those questions with a recipe, and hopefully that'll get you guys on track to cooking healthier and a little bit better and using the cookware the way it's meant to be used, okay? So let's get right to it. The first question is from Scott Waldron out of Phoenix, Arizona. And Scott's question is right here on my computer saying, on the saute pan, does a person use a lid for sauteing as I did not see the little edge around the pan? And the question is, for sauteing, you don't really need a lid for sauteing, but you can put one on to melt some cheese or keep the food warm. So let's go ahead and get to that. He wanted a recipe for eggs and vegetables. So Scott, this is for you. I'll take up some zucchini squash, yellow squash. We'll cut this up. I'll add a little bit of onion to it. We're going to grill this tomato on our square griddle, which is back here. Always have your cookware preheated. My burner is on low right now, and once I put the food inside there, we'll turn that burner up a little bit. But always have a preheated pan waiting for you. I'll put this one on the stove top first, using a little bit of butter, and also I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil inside. This is the large saute pan. So those of you who have this one at home, I'm going to add a little bit of butter first. Like in the show, I always recommend adding a little bit of butter, olive oil, or both. Today, during the video, we're going to add butter first, like that. Okay, and then I want to add a little bit of olive oil to it. Extra virgin olive oil inside the saute pan. And now we're going to set this on the burner. I'm going to use a medium heat. Crank it up to medium high, because this is where we're going to put our vegetables, our yellow squash and zucchini squash. So while that's warming up, let me go ahead and cut these yellow the squashes up, yellow and zucchini squash. So I'm going to take them, cut little ends off like this, and we're going to have our nifty little cutter here. Lock it down, okay? I'm going to use the number 5 cone to cut this yellow squash and the zucchini squash. Get a nice little crinkle cut going like this, okay? About half of each. And I'll take this one here, zucchini squash, right on top. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this inside of our saute pan. In the meantime, while that's heating up, let's cut these tomatoes as well, because these are the tomatoes we're going to use to add to our square griddle, okay? So just take that tomato like this. I want to make nice big chunks out of these tomatoes. So you want to chunk them up like that. Slices, I should say, nice big slices. Make sure you have a sharp knife. You know the difference between a sharp knife and a dull knife is the sharp knife is less dangerous. All right, and then I'm going to put this on our square griddle. Nothing on it. I'm not going to use anything on it. I'm just going to add a little tomato to it like that. And remember, I have a hot pan waiting for you. These will go on the square griddle. Keep them warm with a lid. Any lid will work. Just enough to cover that up like that. Set these on the low burner. Have that lid on top like that. Meanwhile, our olive oil and butter is here. Nice and hot. Ready for our yellow squash, zucchini squash. Get inside there. I'm going to use a little seasoning. Now you guys listen, you can use Mrs. Dash, or if you want to put a little bit of salt and pepper on there, that's fine too. Okay? So throw it inside there. Mrs. Dash salt-free, sodium-free seasoning. We'll sprinkle of this. And then if you want to add a little bit of salt, Lena likes buying the Himalayan salt, a little sea salt, works fine. And hit it with a little bit of black pepper, and let that go ahead and cook. Okay. Right now I want to cut my onion first using the kitchen cutter. This time we're going to take off the 5 cone and add the number 2 cone. That's the cone that's going to give us a nice shred for the onion. Take that onion, cut it right in half like this. I'm going to wedge it out 2 more times. I'm only going to use about quarter this onion, so I need 2 wedges. Set it right on top, the 2 cone, turn the handle, okay? And maybe a little bit more. And then we're gonna take the onion like this and throw it inside there with the squash. Let that all cook up real nice. Flip it a couple times, turn it. All you need is about 3 to 4 minutes with this. You want your onions to be translucent, and you don't want to overcook the squash. Get a nice crisp crunch to it. Keep the crunch. Don't need a lot. Cut that heat down to medium-low. All right, now let's do the eggs. Hold up. All you need, again, a little bit of butter. Okay, a little butter like that. I'm then going to use a little bit of olive oil. This is the small saute pan. Okay, you don't need a lot. Let that go back on the stove. Work it like this. Okay. Let that keep warm on the stove. Turn it up now to about medium heat. Now, this pan should be ready for the egg. The butter's nice and melted. You all see that? Work it like that. You want to completely coat that pan, a little bit of olive oil, butter, or both. Set that pan back on a medium heat burner, and let's grab our eggs. We're gonna do 2 eggs. Let those go ahead and cook a little bit. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, the eggs are nearly done. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little Mrs. Dash on the egg, a little sprinkle Mrs. Dash. I'm gonna set this lid on top of the eggs, like that. Let them go ahead and cook for another couple minutes. Okay, so everything's ready. Turn those burners off. Take our veggies that we sauteed in a little bit of butter and olive oil, Mrs. Dash. Put those on the plate, in the boat, whatever you're using to serve them on. And real quickly, you can also cube the squash up. If you didn't want to thin cut or crinkle cut, cube them up, the same concept. Okay? And then we're going to take our eggs. Slide them right out of the saute pan, put them right on top of those veggies. Finish it off with the tomatoes on the side. And of course, we're going to add a little bit of our favorite topping. For me, it's Parmesan Reggiano cheese. You don't need a lot. You want to do a little Swiss cheese on top of there, or no cheese at all. Hit it with a little Parmesan Reggiano, like that. And you really want to impress her, a little parsley on there. How long did that take? Maybe 7 minutes. Good. All right, that was for Scott. Hope you guys learned something from that. Serve this with a little bit of fresh fruit and fresh mint in the next Fitbit. Hope you guys learned something. Please, any questions, we're here for you. Let us know how we can help you out along the way to cooking healthier and better. See you next time.